everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Hannah, and I'm a dream curator at the DreamBank. I'm just going to give a quick introduction on DreamBank and who we are before we get started today. So, American Family Insurance believes that your dream is the most valuable thing you'll ever own, so much so that we created a space dedicated to the inspiration and pursuit of dreams. DreamBank is truly a celebration of dreams and their transformative power. We are currently located in the heart of downtown Madison, Wisconsin, and while we can't physically be in our space today, that doesn't mean that we cannot come together to inspire one another. The beautiful thing about DreamBank is that it is bigger than the walls that make up our physical space. DreamBank is honestly about the community of dreamers like yourself, who have different backgrounds, stories, and interests, but above all, believe that they have a dream that is worth pursuing. So thank you so much for being here today. And without further ado, I'm very happy to introduce to you our guest speaker today, Jane Antonovich. Jane is a feng shui designer, organizing expert, and founder of Jane Antonovich Designs. She loves to share her passion for feng shui because of the incredible impact it can have on our lives, including our health, which is so important right now. So please give a warm DreamBank welcome to our fabulous speaker today, Jane Antonovich.
Thank you so much, Hannah and Andy, who's in the background running all the tech. I love being at the DreamBank, and even though, as Hannah said, we can't be at the DreamBank together, love that they figured out this virtual opportunity for us. I've been so lucky to have been associated with the DreamBank for years now, and I always feel like the DreamBank and I have a very similar mission, which is to support people to lift up their lives, open doors for them to find their dreams. And it just feels so good to be associated with such an amazing, amazing company as American Family. So we're all here today to take a good hard look at clutter. Any clutter in your home. Maybe you're here for you to get some ideas for your own space, or maybe you're here to pick up information for your spouse or a friend. But I actually wanted to start by saying I have a little bit of a different spin on this. As a feng shui designer, I work with clients to harness the energy of their space, the energy of their homes, to be able to create for them a life that they really, really love. You may or may not know this or be aware of this, but your home is actually a metaphor for your life. Your home is a living, breathing journal for what's going on. So when things are jammed up and stuffed and stuck and crammed, there probably are correlations in your life that feel that same way. So very quickly, even as a kid, I was busy while the kids were out at recess helping the teacher clean out the paint cupboard, because I knew that everybody would just feel so much better once it was cleaned out. And I always cared about being organized and keeping things clear. And even as an adult, a single mom with 3 girls, I could see just right in front of me that if we were staying on top of things, notes from school and after school activities, that things just went more smoothly for everybody. And we all just felt a lot better. And then as a teacher, oh my gosh, if you've ever been in a classroom, organization is top of the list, because kids will have their way with you if you're not organized. So I honed my organization skills from a very young age all the way through adulthood. And then as I was teaching on the side, I occasionally was taking on clients that needed some assistance and support with clearing out their spaces. So I would work in the summers, I would work on the weekends to help people go through their spaces and be able to clear them out. And at first I thought, oh, isn't that nice? The closet looks so good, or the kitchen looks fantastic. The basement's all organized. And it took a while until I started to sink into this idea that not only did the space look beautiful, which we totally care about, but the people's lives themselves were transforming. And so I started to see this as a tool for transformation, and being able to see people step into better jobs, more connection with friends, family, abundance, romance, all kinds of things were popping up for people, careers, travel. And, at first I thought, oh, didn't put it together, didn't think that it was such a coincidence. But here's what happened. I met a feng shui master here in town and had this conversation with her, this very same conversation. She asked what I did. And even though I was still teaching, I was so passionate about the organizing and helping people edit their spaces. And as I was telling her this very same story, she said, well, Jane, that's feng shui. You are very, very much working with the energy of those spaces to be able to open up opportunities and be able to offer people space for the things that they dream of and the things that they want to flow right in. So now this is my full-time profession. I left that very safe teaching job. And once I talked with her, my antennas went way up. We decided that I could become her apprentice, and I worked with her for 4 years, learning everything about the energy of spaces. And whether it was this foundational work, clutter clearing, deleting the downers, or we were designing a space for a beautiful, expressive, and balanced space, it was all the same energetic kind of changes in people's lives. Because once you clear the clutter, then you can call in beauty and you can call in balance. And now that we're all safe at home, we're faced with, in every single moment, our stuff. And one thing I learned from my mentor that I always like to pass on is that everything matters. Whether it's stuffed away or stuck in the basement or off-site in a storage locker, you are in relationship to it. So today we're going to go through how to handle any clutter hotspot that you have, big or small. This is my tried and true method, and it is the actual blueprint that I use to walk people through their clutter. I'm going to switch over to some slides. So let's take a second here. Okay. All right. So hopefully this is working and you can still see me and you can still hear me. So I just wanted to show you, in the past 60 years, our homes the average American home has tripled in size, and with it, the amount of stuff inside, right? So our happiness levels, on the other hand, have dropped, and our stress levels have increased. The storage locker industry is a $22 billion industry, with 1 in 10 Americans paying rent monthly on storage space. So we own 300,000 plus items on the average, each of us, and we're very good at accumulating. So we're marketed to 24/7. Depending on how much time you spend in front of your screen, you see between 4,000 and 10,000 images, marketing images per day. And it starts to feel like our stuff is owning us instead of the other way around, us owning our stuff. And there's a good chance that this may apply to you in some way or another. Maybe it's boxes, maybe it's files, maybe it's closets. So we're going to start by building a foundation for learning how to handle this. And the first thing we're going to do is build some awareness, get honest about this, and talk a little bit about the cost of not taking care of your clutter. What's keeping us small? What's holding us back? And then we'll actually go through that process. And then I love to end with a few dreams. So we'll do some dreaming at the end. And as we're going through, type your questions into the chat. Hannah's keeping track for us. And hopefully we'll have time at the end to answer some questions. So to open your eyes to this, and I know you're home and you could get up and walk around, but I really want you to stay seated and close your eyes and take a deep breath. And take a little tour of your own home. I'm going to walk you through it. And I want you to notice 2 things. 1, where's the clutter? And 2, how does it make you feel? And that second part, it might be emotions, it might be physical feelings. Just pay attention and be open to be surprised about it too. So it's okay. Start at the front door, open up that front door, open up your closet, hall closet, look all the way up, all the way to the back, all the way down, travel into your living room. Maybe there are bookcases there, coffee table. Check out the kitchen, the cupboards, the pantry, the refrigerator. What's stuck all the way in the back? How does it make you feel? Travel into the bedroom, look under the bed, the closets, the nightstands, the dressers. Where is it and how does it make you feel? Check out your office, file cabinets, drawers, closets, cupboards. Where's the clutter? How does it make you feel? Check out the basement or any storage area you might have, attic, garage. Notice, where is your clutter? How does it make you feel? Which area kind of lights up for you as maybe your first project, your first hot spot? So take another deep breath. Open your eyes. And why don't you jot a note about your clutter? Where is it? And how did it make you feel? So at this point in my talk, I usually hear people say like, oh, I got that kicked in the stomach feeling. These are physical reactions. Or my head started to hurt. Or I got a backache. All of a sudden, I got a headache right here. Some people have more of emotional reactions to confronting their clutter. Reactions such as, it's so embarrassing. I don't know how it got this way. I'm ashamed. So just note, where's the clutter and how did it make you feel? Because this correlation between your stuff and how it makes you feel is very real. And building this awareness is the first thing to do. Lay this very clear foundation because it gives us a little more, helps us put this job of clearing our clutter up on the list of priorities. Because, if your cell phone breaks, you're probably at the store within 30 minutes to an hour, but you've got 3 or 4 closets just jammed to the gills. And all of a sudden it's like, I'll do it next year. So this is to build the fire. So now that you're aware, I do want to show you, maybe while you were daydreaming, you were thinking of, this is kind of how it looked or how it felt in certain spots of your home, possibly. Even if it didn't look exactly like this, maybe it feels like this. And maybe you wish it felt more like this. Because now that we're all at home, that feeling of sanctuary, that feeling of being able to be nourished by your space and rejuvenated when you go home to be able to rest and relax and work, it's pretty amazing to have a space that supports all of that. So one of our clients, Sandy, called. This was a couple of years ago, and Sandy had big dreams. So she worked as a wealth management advisor for a big company here in town, and she did some work at home. This is her home office. She did quite a lot of work at home, and she actually also was starting to become a local speaker about all kinds of things, diversity, inclusion, and so here she was in this office. This is how it looked when we first saw it. So as you can see, she's facing the wall, which she sort of blocked herself a little bit right there by facing the wall. This is all feng shui talk. And all the little pieces of paper, the notes, the reminders, all kind of cluttered in front of her. Nowhere to go, very hard to focus. I was predicting very hard to be clear and to move forward in this particular desk space. And then behind her was another desk, not being used by anyone. And then all the things like the cat box and the cat post and all the things in the office. So when I asked her what she wanted, because we were going for the full design of this office, not just clutter clearing, she said she wanted to take her speaking career to a much bigger level. She wanted to, step into her greatness and really, really show up in the world with her message. And so this is how her office looked after. So that little spot now where we have put the built-in shelves was where her desk was and all the clutter bulletin boards. So everything got gone through. Now, I would not have just walked in and said, well, all you need to do is wallpaper, Sandy, because this would never have felt as good if we hadn't taken care of the clutter. So first order of business, take care of the clutter, and then design this incredible space. And so that's what we do. And Sandy's results are absolutely amazing. So that very next, I think within 6 months, she was speaking at a very large national gathering in Texas. And from that amazing talk that she gave, she was had many international offers, and just this December spoke in Paris. And she's just off and running. So her space most definitely supports her work and her dreams and her desires. So, where are the stuck spots in your home? And maybe just give them a little priority. What 1, 2, and 3, where you might get the most traction by taking care of the clutter. So, the cost of not taking care of the clutter, you can probably feel it. You've probably felt it when we did that little tour of your home, because it affects your health. Number one, in feng shui, health and clutter are directly aligned. If you suffer from headaches or confusion or congestion or anxiety, or you carry extra weight, or you feel irritable, if you have insomnia or fatigue, or you are stressed, consider clearing clutter as part of a solution. 90%, the American Stress Institute, so I'm not making this up, says 90% of diseases in America have some stress correlation. And we can't really control the virus. We can only do what we can do. We can vote. We can't control politics a lot. I mean, those are some stressful things in our lives right now. But locus of control, we can control the items in our home, the items that come into our home, and the items that we let go from our home. And if you take the sweep through your home once, twice, 3 times, usually it takes 3 times. We're going for the long haul. You will be amazed at the difference in how you feel. Because when your stress is up, even if it's just you 10 times a day or 20 times a day thinking, oh, the basement, oh, the garage, oh, the closets, I wish I could get to the kitchen. All of that, it's just like a little low-grade fever in the background, and it's raising your cortisol. It keeps you from resting properly. It keeps you from digesting properly, and it's just always going. So this is something that you actually have control over, that you can take care of starting today, and move through and help yourself feel a lot better really fast. So maybe there is a cost to your health, or maybe there's a cost to your productivity. So maybe your desk looks like this, or maybe your desk feels like this. But the Small Business Association says that business owners lose over 1 hour a day looking for lost items, whether it's digital or physical piles of paper and filing. So it definitely, our clutter affects our productivity. And even if you're not in the workforce, but you're at home working, taking care of your family, whatever you might be doing, if you gained back 15 minutes a day by becoming more organized, and as an example, 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, 4 minutes there, looking for your keys, your wallet, your phone, your charger, your money, your bills, your shoes, whatever it might be, 15 minutes a day adds up to 11 plus work days a year. So 11 plus work days a year is a lot of time that you can use to, I don't know, read, paint, take a walk, go to yoga, chat with your friends, go on vacation. There's a lot there, a lot of time there that we waste looking for things. So if we can create systems for incoming streams so that we're not wasting time and we know where things are and we get organized, it's amazing the amount of time you can get back and the more productive you can feel if you get your space cleared out and feeling clutter-free. Also, your money. So clutter actually affects your wallet. And everything we buy costs money, obviously. 80% of Americans are in debt. And you spent your money on all of the things that are in your space, or you said yes to them, or you didn't say no to them. Whether you actually bought it, or your partner or spouse or kids or whoever bought it, you allowed it to come in, and there it is, all in your space, all of you. So clients do say after working with us to clear clutter that once they go through this process, that they feel more intentional, more mindful, they have more awareness about what they are purchasing. What suddenly becomes more compelling is a simple space, a peaceful space, a space that feels clear. And so consider more money in your pocket is always a fun thing to consider, right? And relationships. So whether clutter, and this is a big one, I hear this all the time. So whether clutter is causing, annoyances over the mess, or irritation for not being able to find things, or even arguments, this is a great place to get some traction. Even we've had clients say that they're embarrassed to have friends over. We had one client who said, it was a big birthday coming up, I think her 50th birthday, and she was out looking at venues because she couldn't invite her friends over. And so she decided actually to work with us and spend the money there instead of renting a venue somewhere else. And we did get her space cleaned out, and she did have the party. And so that was an amazing success story right there. Just being able to have your friends over. Very often this is the case. So consider if your clutter is having an effect on your relationship. So your health, your productivity and your time, your money, your relationships. So this is no small thing. This is a great big deal. So here's one of our clients, Marie. She called for her closet. And this is actually was before I started taking really good before pictures. And so this is sort of somewhat into our work, but still cluttered. And when she called, she'd actually taken over 2 closets in the bedroom. Her husband had been relegated to the guest room. And she had those chrome stainless steel rolling racks trailing, 2 or 3, maybe 4 of them trailing out of the bedroom, hanging with other clothes hanging on them because they couldn't fit in the closets, and she had to kind of sidle in sideways to get into her bedroom. She was overworked. She had about 4 different jobs going. She was overweight. She was stressed. Her health was strained. Her relationship with her husband was strained. She said, I would rather drink wine than go down the basement. In fact, I'm considering paying my husband to do the laundry so that I don't have to go into the basement. And I may have just said this, but I'm going to repeat. It wasn't just the closet. It was the whole house, obviously, everywhere. So we started where we started, right there in the closet, and moved through. And it took some time, but afterwards, all of a sudden, Marie decided to hire a personal trainer. She said, I don't have any more junk in my home. I'm certainly not going to eat junk either. Things had really, really shifted for her. She lost 40 pounds, and here we are, I don't know, 10 years later, maybe 12. She's kept it off. She has let go of all the jobs and has just cherry picked some private consulting work that is, just a beautiful fit to her now semi-retired life. She has a grandbaby in California, and she has space. She says all the time, now I have space. I have space in my life for joy and beauty. And she's very, very clear about what the clutter is costing her. So what's it costing you? Just take a moment, jot down. Is it your health? Is that getting to you? Stressful? Even if it's a little bit of stress, it can really help to handle it and feel lighter. Is it your productivity, your time, finding things, missing things, stuffing things in? Is it your money? Are you on the let's just go shopping? Oh, and now that we're home, we've got virtual shopping opportunities. A lot of people shop to feel better, to handle their stress, but I'm going to ask you to consider handling your clutter before you shop to feel better. And what about your relationships? Whether it's spouse, partner, kids, friends. So just take a second and jot. Okay. All right. So now we've got all that foundation laid. Let's talk about the actual process. So on my website, I don't want you to go right now because Hannah's going to put it in the chat, in the comments. There's a sign up button right on the home page, right underneath my picture, and says sign me up. And it's a way for you to get my free gift that has the clutter clearing checklist right in there. So I'm going to go through it now, but after this is over, you can go ahead and sign up and download that, and you'll have it in your hands for you to be able to use on any part of your house or garage, any place that has clutter. So you have access to that as soon as the talk is over. So for now, just let this soak in and sort of follow along with me, and you'll have the actual list in your hands soon. So first thing I'm going to say, when you're going after clutter, when you decide you've set some time aside, you're going to go for it, set yourself up for success. So bring bags, bring boxes, bring maybe a marker for designating this is the recycle box, this is the donate box, whatever it's going to be. Turn your phone off. Tell your family you're busy. Shut the door, lock the door, leave your phone in the car or with, or I don't know, in the kitchen, in a drawer. Get yourself all tuned up for it. Get ready to do it. Maybe some music. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. So try it out both ways. So set yourself up for success and then start small. This is where people almost always get thrown off into the bushes. I'm going to do the basement. And, they head down. Maybe they thought to bring the bags, and they get down there and they do the sort of slow 360, and they kind of throw their hands up and say like, I don't know where to start. So, this was Marie's after closet. I'm so sorry. There it is. Beautiful. And actually the whole rest of her house looks just as beautiful. So you go down the basement, you start twirling around and thinking like, where do I even begin? Where do I start? I mean, there's furniture, there's cast off linens, there's kids stuff, there's tarps, there's baby boxes, like, ugh. And 9 times out of 10, you will turn yourself around and go right back up those steps. So my suggestion for you is to start small. Plan it out, either by time, like as in a small amount of time, or a small area, just so that you can complete one small task and then move on to the next, because there are a finite amount of items, even in this basement picture. So you can move through them 10 minutes at a time, 15 minutes at a time, half hour at a time. You would not decide to get fit and go to the gym and go for the 600-pound weights. You'd start with the 5-pound weights, and you would practice. So that's what the same thing. This is the same. Start small, keep practicing, build up, and pretty soon you'll be, a pro. So start small. That's the whole idea. Let's just use the example of a junk drawer, because that is a small area that you could probably complete within 20 minutes, if not less than 20 minutes. So just consider that you might start with this project because you could get it all done in a short amount of time. So first thing to do would be to take everything out. I know it seems like a no-brainer, but we're not making decisions right now. We're just taking everything out. It just gets you into action and gets your body moving. So sometimes people start they'll pick up one thing like, oh, I don't know. Do we need this? And then there's all this tussle and discussion in your head about, do we need it? Do we want it? But all I'm saying, first thing, take everything out. No discussion, nothing to do, but take everything out. This gets you into action. So do that first. No decisions to make. Then refresh the space. So in the case of the junk drawer, we're going to wipe it all out. We're going to clean it. We're going to clear it. Use something uplifting. use something citrusy. If you're a Young Living fan, use Thieves Household Cleaner. If you don't know about that and you want to know about that, you can message me and I'll hook you up. But get it clean, get it beautiful. And, in the case of the junk drawer, that's a very small area to wipe out. Right now, I've got a client in a Facebook group who is going through her basement, and she got to the back of the basement and pulled everything off the shelves, and all of a sudden found out there's mold back there. So, properly cleaning the mold, then sealing it up, then painting it. Like, there are a lot of steps to this refresh part. But if you start small, you can hopefully keep it simple and work your way up, as I said, to a bigger project. So refresh. And then here we go. This is where the decisions come in. And this is also a big stopper for people. This is where people just say like, I don't know. They just throw up their hands like, I don't know what to keep. So the emotions come in with all kinds of drama, like, so-and-so gave this to me. It was a gift. I should keep it. Like, this was grandma's, or this was that. So there's all the emotions. They like to show up with a lot of drama and flair. Your brain will come in with reasons like, I paid good money for this. This was on sale. I bought it in bulk. It still has good life in it. Whatever it might be, reasons. And if you hear yourself saying, I should, that's also another reason. That's your brain talking. So what I'm going to suggest is that the only thing that matters is your personal energy. So consider every item, and if you can't decide, just take a second, take a breath, hold it, and then decide, is this something I love? Is this something I need, absolutely need, like a can opener? Is it in good repair? Do I choose it? In the case of looking in your closet, there might be, let's say there's a jacket that you've always loved, but recently, every time you put it on, you take it right off again. So you don't choose it anymore. You've outgrown it. Maybe you really have outgrown it, or maybe you're just farther along and the jacket doesn't make sense to you anymore. So let it go. Let it go. Does it speak to your future? Is it pulling you forward, or is it some way holding you back? As you're considering each item, consider, how is it making you feel? Is it pulling you forward? Is it holding you back? Is it speaking to your future? Is it not? Do you love it? Or do you just like go, oh gosh? And here's a little pro tip. If you think you need to put it in a maybe pile, then it is also most likely to go. So just be ruthless. This is your health we're talking about. This is your relationship we're talking about. This is whatever it is costing you. This is what it is. So that's my, now I've given whole classes on editing your space and how to make decisions, but that's it in a nutshell, because every crusty shampoo bottle, every piece of junk mail, every broken paper clip, they all matter. Everything matters. And if you're keeping it, as I said before, you are in relationship to it. So the next thing we're going to do is sort things. So back to the junk drawer. Now this one has some custom made, very beautiful insert to sort things out. And we're not having people come to our home to build things for us at the moment. So I say use what you have. Little cardboard boxes, little bins that you may have already, boxes that hold checks are kind of a nice size for pens and that kind of thing. Do what you can to put like with like. So all the pens together, all the erasers together, all the paper clips together. And then as you're putting them back, put them back. So you may be looking for containers as you're reorganizing things. And this is when you might actually need to do a little shopping. So many people I know, or so many people I talk to or hear talking, at a restaurant or something, say like, I'm going to get organized. And first thing they do is go out and go shopping and get bins and organizers. And that is not a great way to start, because really you're just creating another kind of clutter for yourself. It comes much farther down on the list after you've done all the hard work of letting things go and making the decisions of what you're going to keep, because you can't choose containers until you know what you have to contain. So that's That's my rule. It's fun because it's sort of like now you can celebrate by putting things back and making it look beautiful. So, something else I always like to point out to people is leave space. Always leave 10% or 20% of space. And you can see in this junk drawer, it just feels so good because it's not jammed in there. There's room. So again, it's a metaphor for your life. So all of your cupboards, all of your bookshelves, all of your drawers and files should feel like there's space and that there's room for opportunity to flow in, for your life to blossom. It is a metaphor. So the next thing, and this is a little tricky in these times, but the next thing is to get rid of things. So I know now that there is no place in Madison and probably no place in the country that is accepting donations. And this is where I usually tell people, like, get rid of it immediately. Don't just rearrange the clutter and put it in your garage or in the trunk of your car and drive around with it for 6 months. Set it aside. And get it gone so you can feel the magic of it really being out of your space. So while we're hunkering down, my suggestion is put it aside, put it together, put it as neatly as you can, as closest to the door, maybe not your front door, but maybe your garage door, or lined up in a storage space or something, so that it's easy when we're able to travel about again. Put this at the top of your list. So sometimes when people are making decisions, donations become like sort of I just don't want to throw this away. Look, it's still good. And I would love to suggest to you that there are people in our community who really, really need what you no longer want or love. That there are people who don't have shoes, don't have coats, don't have a choice of clothing. So to be able to find your treasures and lift their life up while you're lifting your life up by letting it go is really an amazing way to think about letting things go. You're giving a gift to someone at your church, your community. You make the decision about where it goes. And the last thing to do, because once you donate, it's going to feel amazing. It will feel amazing. And even if you just have finished one small spot, make sure that you celebrate. Now, you don't have to drink champagne unless you want to. You might drink a cup of green tea. Maybe you're going to take a shower, pet the cat, sing, dance, go for a walk. Do something. You could actually send me a Facebook message. I would love to cheer you on, like, look, I did it. Definitely do something to mark that you finished. This is the secret fuel. Complete and celebrate, and complete and celebrate. It's just like building that muscle. Keep it going, because if you just do one box, then you're faced with the next box and the next box and the next box. It just goes downhill from there. But if you do one box and go for a walk, do another box, 10 minutes of dancing, do another box, call a friend, then all of a sudden you've got something to look forward to. And it really does help, especially if you're working on clutter with your family, with your kids, with your teenagers. It's always fun to say, let's spend an hour, let's spend 15 minutes, and then let's, go for a walk around the block. Or, in the days when we could go places, let's spend an hour in the basement, honey, and then let's go to that new place for coffee. It just helps. It's not like we have to spend all weekend in the basement. Let's just spend an hour and then let's go do something fun, because we can rinse and repeat and keep it going. And then it feels like more fun because we can be successful, and it sort of trains your brain that it's okay. So I know you probably have questions about this part, but here's an example of a client of ours who really went for it. So this was, she had a whole basement sort of family room area that was unused and full of clutter. Her kids, at this point, her kids were teenagers, and there was still preschool stuff down there and lots of old school projects. And, there were bins in the back, and she was really trying to stay organized, but it just was, unusable. And she said her kids never came down. Her kids never used the space. It was just this beautiful house in this gorgeous setting in Cross Plains. And and it just, this whole lower level was completely unused because of clutter. And, it just had never been attended to. So she, with some support from us, followed the steps. And that is that same room. So that whole wall in the back where the wires are tangled up and sticking out, we had some shelving built. She loves to collect old containers, antique kinds of things, flea market, farm kind of crates. And so we put everything, we let go of a lot. We put like with like. We labeled some things, and we set up the room as a big game room and ping pong space for her and for her teenagers. And then, as often happens, the room adjacent suddenly became like a possibility. And so this is the next room right through the doorway, and it was just pretty much empty. It had one of those old couches on it with the wooden arms that are uncomfortable. And nobody ever came down there. And she said, her kids really all those years, like, didn't have friends over. And she said the reason was because they lived in the country. But once we had this family room set up and this game room set up, guess what? All the friends started coming over and sleepovers and having a blast. And she said, oh, this is so much fun. I don't know why we waited 10 years to do this. And big bonus, once that curved sofa arrived, it was around Christmas, and grandma was there for the weekend. And so the whole family, all 5 of them, spent a whole weekend on the sofa watching Christmas movies, all snuggled up, and had a ball. So talk about relationships, family and friends, and being able to support that, because this doesn't actually support coming down and, who's going to want to come down there? Nobody does, because clutter just attracts more clutter. And so until you handle it, that's what you've got on your hands. And this is what's possible. So what's your dream? I always love to ask that question when I'm at the Dream Bank. What's your dream? How is clutter or chaos or junk blocking you and keeping you from it? Just sink into that for a minute. Is it a career dream? Is it health? Do you have big wishes about improving your health? Is it relationship? Is it wealth? Is it travel? Is it family? Is it spiritual connection? What is it? And what could you set as your intention as you move through the clutter? Because, as I said, this is much bigger. There's a much bigger force operating here than just, the stuff in our home. It's much deeper and richer than that. So consider, as you begin your work with clutter, what do you want? What do you dream of? What do you want to support? So I'd like to just show you a few before and after pictures, because it's always so much fun to see the before and afters, and I'll go pretty quickly through them. But you can always come back to this video. I think it'll be on the DreamBank site for a while. So, oh yeah, what do you dream of? I was ahead of myself. So here's a little room off the side of a front door, just a nothing, kind of a throwaway space. Clutter on pictures that are, not hung, pillows thrown about, plants, just a sort of like, I don't know what to do with that space. So we cleared out the clutter. We designed a beautiful space, a meditation space. So this client, as she says, against all odds, took up a meditation practice, and she sits in that little white love seat every morning with her coffee and her journal and meditates and does that every single day. And she said, really, against all odds, I've tried and tried. And what a beautiful space to walk into. This is a basement bedroom. And again, it just, open the door and put the leftover stuff. There go the Amazon boxes. Everything gets just thrown in there, and it's down the basement. So, nobody ever goes down there. So who cares? But as I said before, everything matters, every little thing. So you have to consider that all the things in that space you said yes to, or you didn't attend to, or you didn't say no to. And here's the opportunity. So that is the exact same space. We took this room and created a master bedroom downstairs. And I have never before put a master bedroom in the basement because the energy is much lower in the basement. And but in this case, we went big because if you're going to make a bedroom that you're going to go down to every day in a lower level, you have to go wow. And we really did, with the big mural behind and the beautiful soft velvet headboard. We added a dog. Dog was always there. Beautiful thick wool carpeting all the way to the ends. I mean, there's a cement floor under there and the ceilings are 7 feet. So it feels low and it feels dingy and small. But once the clutter was gone and we started looking at the feng shui design possibilities, this is what happened afterwards. Here's a home office / guest room. So guess how much work was getting done in there? Clear the clutter, set it up for a beautiful space to work, clear, focused, everything put away, place for everything, gorgeous colors, just completely flipped it on its head from this to this. This is a bathroom of a client of ours that, doesn't look particularly cluttery. I think the clutter was in the vanity, sort of one of those, just pushed to the back, kind of very common, especially in those places that are under and dark. You just get the new stuff and set it in and give a little, and that's how it is. So we, oh gosh, coral peacocks. I still get a little flutter every time I see how beautiful this bathroom is. Now, I do know it's not for everybody, so don't send me messages saying like, I hate that coral bathroom. But it is not for everybody, but it was totally for them, and they absolutely love it. So feng shui work is very personal and very individual. Here's a bedroom. Clutter, and just notice how it makes you feel, kind of going back to that how does it make you feel thing, like it's just kind of a bummer, isn't it? I mean, and then now it's completely gone through, so the clutter's been picked up. Just simple bed, headboard, matching nightstands, matching lamps, simple and clear and beautiful and balanced for good sleep, for intimacy. A bedroom like that is I mean, it would be hard to even sleep probably in a bedroom like this. So we actually do commercial work. This is a veterinary clinic reception, and they weren't doing very well. Just say that. And what do you know? So really, this was clutter clearing, paint, lighting, and that was it. They did not have a big budget. And these two veterinarians sold the practice after 3.5 years and made nearly $500,000. They were incredible hard workers. They created a beautiful, like, hardworking staff, but their space, and not just this reception space, but the whole clinic was completely redone using feng shui principles, and mostly getting rid of clutter and putting like with like, just all of these same things that we've been talking about. Here's a living room. So you walk through that green door and you're faced with the back of the couch, all those messy pillows, the stuffed up bookcase with, the bookcase is holding too much when either you have double rows or you've got the books going sideways and you just have to jam it in there. So that's your cue for when it's time to take care of it. And here's that same living room. I kid you not. So standing at that green door. So the second shot is with your back to the green door, and completely redone. We actually didn't even need to paint. It was that beautiful soft minty color, got rid of the clutter, designed a beautiful and balanced space so that this client could really step into her greatness. Oh. So let's just review for a second. So your awareness of where it is in your home. Maybe I can, okay, hold on. I'm going to come back to you, I think. Am I back? I'm not sure. Anyway, Andy. Oh, there. I am back. Okay. So that place. Oh, hi, Hannah. Okay. That awareness, like, where is it in your home? And what is it costing you? And that process of just step by step by step. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. go to my website and get that link for the free gift. It has a really fun clutter quiz in it, and it has a clutter clearing checklist and some other fun things. So go look for that. Hannah's going to put it in the comments, a link to it. So raise your hand if you've got some fire for this now. Feel the heat? Are you sweating a little? Like, whoo, I don't know. So your home, as I said, is a metaphor for your life. And, it's not just a closet or a basement we're talking about. This is your life. And go back to your dreams. What do you want? I always ask my clients that in the beginning. What do you want? What can we support in the design and the energetics of your space? What's getting squashed? What's getting blocked? Because maybe the life you really want is hiding under all your stuff. You just never know. And if you want further support, I have just in the last 2 weeks, because we're all home and possibly wanting support with this, I have a free Conquer Your Clutter group on Facebook. Hannah's also going to put the link to that in the comments below. Please join us. We have a really engaged group of people supporting each other. I'm in there about every day, supporting people, working through all kinds of questions about bookshelves and nightstands and basements and garages. And we are having a blast, and you could learn a ton just by joining and posting. We've got a free gift thing going. We're going to have a drawing in a few weeks for people who post before and afters, and it's just been a lot of fun. So before we say goodbye, or maybe we have time for questions, go back for a second to this idea of the power of decluttering. Just hold in your heart that you have this amazing opportunity before you, that this is a big gift you can give yourself, an opportunity to clear your space and make a powerful shift by just attending to your home. I think you'll be really surprised at the results that are at your fingertips, just one drawer, one box, one file folder at a time. So Hannah's going to put those links below. I really appreciate you all coming today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and great rest of your week. And please reach out if you want some support or have any questions, but hopefully we have time for questions. So
yes.
Okay, Hannah.
I have a few for you.
Okay.
So the first one is from Susan, and she said, some of the stuff I'm afraid to put away. I won't tend to it, but then it just sits out.
Okay, so she's afraid to put it away? Oh, yeah, I see. Like things that maybe like papers, I'm assuming, like things that need to get attended to. Mm-hmm. Is that what I'm assuming? Okay, so if this isn't the answer to a question, Susan, just write another question in the comments and we'll get to it. But so I was alluding to that a little bit, but what we almost always recommend is that people have a landing pad of some sort or another in their home where they can put things that still need attention. So when, let's say, things come home with the kids that need to be signed, or you need to answer an invitation, or I don't know what it might be, a card came in the mail, have a place for things that need to get attended to, have a place for your bills. You might just start to notice and make a little list of what things, what are the categories of things that come up. And definitely have your recycling right there. So when you come in with the mail, don't even put that pile down anywhere. Just go right to the recycling, sift through it, get rid of the things you don't need. And then with what's remaining, maybe you've got a system set up for bills, things that need to be attended to. And it's right there. It might be where you have your charging station. It might be where you keep your stamps. It's very individual, but that might be the answer to your question. I'm not sure, because I can see what she's saying. If you just file it away, like, file the school papers away or the permission slips or something, then, of course, no, you're never going to see it and you will forget about it. Mm-hmm. So that was where I was going. But Susan, if it's not your actual question, ask again. Okay.
Then we have one from Laura. She said she's worried about getting rid of stuff because she might need it or have to buy it again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Laura, that's a great question. And people come up with that one all the time. So that is actually your emotions and sometimes your brain showing up with, like, the emotion is you're worried, and it's sort of a lack mentality. I might need it someday. I paid good money for it. So that's your brain. So it's not actually your heart and soul talking. And that's when you go back to that part of the talk where we were saying the only thing that really matters in any of this is your personal energy. Because if your energy's high, then your life is on a very nice upward trajectory. And so if items in your home are holding you back, and if you are holding on to things because you might need it someday, or who knows, this is, those are the kind of reasons that keep us playing small and keep us from moving forward. It's a very tricky branch of your brain trying to, like, say, like, oh no, you might need this someday. But really, just ask yourself, like, really in your heart, do you need it? Do you love it? Because if the answer is no, then who cares? I mean, we're in this society where, you can have things in overnight, in a moment's time, you can have it again. So for the most part, I would say clients who say that don't really need it or want it or will ever use it again. It's really just your brain or your emotions trying to trick you into keeping it. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, I think so. I think that's all the time we have for questions.
Okay.
There's more, but I know you'll go in and answer them later.
Yeah, I will. I totally will. Thank you so much, Hannah. This has been such a fun opportunity. I really appreciate the DreamBank stepping up and doing this virtual event.
Yes, and thank you so much for all of your helpful tips. I know I learned a ton when you said how many items I probably own. That rocked my world a little bit.
300,000.
Yes.
I'll just say it again.
But thank you so much for being
You're
here.
welcome.
Really appreciate it. And I will go ahead and post those links right after we finish up.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say thank you. And if anybody wants any more information or wants to keep up with our future events, just be sure to like our Facebook page. And we'll be posting more events in the future. So thank you so much.
Okay.
And I'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.